ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to dive into one of the most challenging yet liberating topics you might ever explore: avoidant personality disorder. If you've ever felt trapped by self-doubt, constantly worried about what others think, or avoided opportunities for fear of rejection or failure, this speech is for you. But here's the thing: you don't have to stay stuck in that pattern. You can take control, break free, and rewrite your narrative. The power to overcome is within you. Now, let's get into 6 key points that will not only help you understand avoidant personality disorder, but also show you how to overcome it. The truth is, overcoming this starts by understanding it. And once you understand, you begin the transformation. Overcoming avoidant personality disorder isn't an overnight process, but it's a journey that starts with a simple but profound realization. Fear is not who you are. Fear has a way of making us believe it has control over our lives, convincing us to shy away from opportunities, people, and experiences that could truly enrich us. As we've learned today, fear is just a feeling. It's not an unchangeable truth. By acknowledging this, we begin to break the chains that have kept us in a state of avoidance. The first step toward freedom is recognizing that fear doesn't define us, and in fact, it can be something we confront and move through. Next, we explore the fact that you're not alone in this struggle. Far too often, those living with avoidant personality disorder feel isolated or disconnected, believing that they are the only ones fighting this battle. But the truth is, this condition impacts more people than you might realize. Understanding that so many others share your experience can be a powerful source of support. It reminds you that you don't have to carry the burden by yourself. You are part of a broader human experience that struggles with these feelings, and recognizing that you're not alone allows you to open up and begin to connect with others on a deeper level. Furthermore, your self-worth is a decision, not a set of external judgments. We've spent too much of our lives attaching our value to what others think or whether we measure up to societal expectations. But your worth is intrinsic. It is yours to define, and it is not dependent on anyone else's approval or perceptions. Once you start believing in your own value and start making decisions based on that belief, you'll notice the shift. You'll approach life and relationships with a new perspective, one where you no longer feel the need to hide or shrink in the face of others, but instead show up confidently as yourself. This mindset shift is crucial to overcoming avoidance and taking back control of your life. As you begin to face your fears head on, remember that change happens through small steps. It's not about taking giant leaps or expecting immediate perfection, but rather about consistent action. The more you step outside of your comfort zone, the more you'll realize that the fears you've been carrying are often far less daunting than you once imagined. Every small success will provide you with more strength to continue moving forward. It's about progress, not perfection. And each step you take brings you closer to the life you deserve, one where you are not defined by fear or avoidance, but by your courage to act, connect, and live authentically. Lastly, understand this: you have the power to rewrite your story. Avoidant personality disorder does not define you. It's simply a chapter in the larger book of your life. But you are the author, and you hold the pen. The moment you decide to shift your narrative, to see yourself as capable, worthy, and open to growth, you take the first step toward creating a future filled with opportunity. The world around you is waiting for you to show up, and when you do, you'll find that life is more fulfilling and meaningful than you ever imagined. This is not just about healing from avoidant personality disorder. It's about embracing the full, vibrant potential of who you are and who you can become. The power is in your hands. Now, go and use it. The journey to overcoming avoidant personality disorder begins with understanding that fear does not define you. Fear in all its forms, might try to hold you back from fully engaging in life, relationships, and opportunities. But it's crucial to realize that fear is simply a response, not an identity. The moment you recognize that fear is just an emotion and not a permanent aspect of your being, you can take the first step toward breaking free. The chains of fear can only bind you as long as you let them. And once you understand this, you begin the process of reclaiming your power and your life. One of the most important takeaways from this discussion is that you are not alone in this fight. So many people struggle with avoidance, with the weight of self-doubt and the fear of rejection. But this shared experience is a source of strength. You are part of a larger human narrative, and there's a powerful sense of solidarity in knowing that countless others are working through the same feelings. When we realize that others understand our struggles, we find comfort, and this understanding becomes a catalyst for opening up, forming genuine connections, and starting the healing process together. Furthermore, your self-worth is not something that is decided by others. For too long, we allow the opinions, judgments, and standards of the world to shape our sense of who we are. But self-worth is a choice. It's something you can claim for yourself. Once you begin to internalize the truth that you are worthy, no matter what anyone else thinks, the way you interact with the world shifts. You stop hiding and start living with a sense of confidence and purpose. This realization is the foundation for healing and growth, because when you understand your value, you start showing up for yourself and others in a powerful way. As you move forward, remember that change is achieved through consistent, small steps. Overcoming avoidance doesn't require dramatic, life-altering shifts all at once. It's about the courage to take one small step outside your comfort zone each day. Each of those steps, no matter how small, chips away at the walls you built around yourself. And over time, you'll notice that these small actions compound into big changes. You'll find yourself more capable of engaging with life, less fearful of rejection, and more open to the connections that once seemed daunting. It's the small wins that build momentum, and with each win, you're one step closer to living a life full of authenticity and connection. Finally, you hold the pen to your own story. Avoidant Personality Disorder may have written a few chapters in your life, but it does not have to be the whole book. You have the power to rewrite your narrative, one where you are not defined by your fears, but by your courage, growth, and willingness to step into life with open arms. The future is yours to create, and it starts with the decision to move past avoidance and embrace vulnerability, connection, and progress. As you take ownership of your story, you will transform not just your life, but your world. The person you are becoming is ready to shine. It's time to step into that power and embrace the journey ahead. This is your time. The road may not always be easy, but every step you take toward healing is a step toward a life you never thought possible. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are not alone. Let's break free from the chains of avoidance and step into a future where we are free to live, connect, and thrive. It's essential to understand that overcoming avoidant personality disorder is not about eliminating fear altogether, but rather recognizing that fear doesn't have to control your life. Fear has a way of keeping us small, of making us avoid what we most desire and need: connection, growth, and opportunities. But fear is just an emotion. It's not a truth. Once you start to accept that fear doesn't define who you are or what you can accomplish, you empower yourself to take back control. You can begin to dismantle the walls you've built and step into the life you deserve. Remember, the chains of fear only hold as long as you believe in them. Once you see them for what they are, they begin to lose their power. The second major realization is that you're not isolated in this struggle. So many people, perhaps even those you admire, have dealt with similar feelings of avoidance and self-doubt. You are part of a larger community of individuals who are working through the same emotional challenges. This understanding isn't just comforting, it's motivating. You are not alone, and there is strength in this shared experience. There is power in knowing that others too have worked through their fears and come out stronger. So instead of isolating yourself, seek out that connection and allow it to fuel your transformation. Furthermore, your self-worth is yours to decide, and it has nothing to do with the judgments or opinions of others. So often, people with avoidant personality disorder tie their sense of self to external validation or rejection. But here's the truth. Self-worth is not something to be earned or given by anyone else. It's something that is intrinsic to who you are as a person. You are worthy simply because you exist. And once you begin to believe that, to internalize that truth, everything begins to change. When you view yourself as worthy, you stop hiding, you stop avoiding, and you start to live authentically. You move from surviving to thriving. As you embark on this journey of growth, remember that transformation comes through consistent action, not drastic overnight changes. It's the small daily steps you take to face your fears that will ultimately create lasting change. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. You don't need to confront everything at once. Just focus on one small step forward each day. Whether it's engaging in a conversation, taking a small risk, or facing a fear, each action you take builds momentum. Over time, these small actions lead to big transformations. And each time you face a fear and move through it, you'll realize that you're capable of far more than you thought. Finally, understand that you are the author of your own story. Avoidant personality disorder may have shaped your narrative up until now, but it does not have to determine the future. The beauty of life is that at any moment you can choose to rewrite your story. It's time to stop identifying with avoidance and start seeing yourself as someone who is worthy of connection, success, and happiness. The power to create a new chapter lies within you. And with each step you take toward healing, you're writing that new chapter. You can break free from avoidance and embrace a life where you show up as your authentic, confident, and empowered self. The future is yours to shape, and the possibilities are endless. This is your moment. It may feel challenging at times, but with each step forward, you are stepping into the life you are meant to live. The person you are becoming is courageous, capable, and ready to embrace the world. Don't let fear hold you back any longer. Your true potential is waiting for you to claim it. It's time to break free and live the life you deserve. As we wrap up today's discussion, it's important to acknowledge that the path to overcoming avoidant personality disorder begins with recognizing that fear is not the enemy. It's the illusion. Fear might seem like a formidable force, controlling your actions and keeping you from seizing opportunities or building meaningful relationships. But what we often forget is that fear is just an emotion, not a permanent state of being. It can be faced, processed, and ultimately overcome. The key is to stop letting fear define your actions and instead take conscious steps to confront it. The more you embrace fear with courage and take small actionable steps forward, the less power it will have over you. And with each step, you'll find more freedom and more joy in the process of living. Another crucial point to understand is that you are not alone in this experience. The struggle with avoidant personality disorder can feel isolating, but the truth is that many people face similar challenges. There's a sense of community and shared experience that can serve as a source of strength for you. You don't have to fight this battle in isolation. By seeking support and connecting with others who understand what you're going through, you create an environment of growth, empathy, and mutual encouragement. Reaching out and opening up to others, even in small ways, can help you break down the walls of avoidance and create deeper, more meaningful connections. One of the most powerful truths we've touched on today is that your self-worth is yours to decide. Often people with avoidant personality disorder find themselves measuring their value by how others perceive them or whether they receive the approval or validation they seek. But this is a trap. True self-worth doesn't depend on external approval. It's an internal decision, a choice you make every day to accept and believe in your own value. When you take ownership of your self-worth, you shift from living in fear of judgment to living in acceptance of yourself. You begin to recognize that you are worthy, not because of what others think, but because of who you are. This shift is transformative, and it's the foundation upon which lasting change is built. As you embark on this journey of healing, remember that progress is made through consistent, small actions. Overcoming avoidance is not about making huge, sudden changes, but about taking one small step at a time toward growth. It's about showing up for yourself every single day, even when it feels uncomfortable. Each small victory, whether it's having a conversation, trying something new, or simply showing up in a social setting, builds momentum. Over time, these little steps add up to significant transformation. The more you push through the discomfort, the more you will realize that fear isn't as big or powerful as it once seemed. Your courage will begin to outgrow your fear, and with that, you will unlock a life that's far richer and more fulfilling than you ever imagined. Finally, remember that you hold the power to reshape your story. Avoidant personality disorder may have shaped the chapters of your past, but it does not have to dictate your future. You have the ability to write a new narrative, one where you are confident, connected, and open to the world. The future you desire is not a distant dream. It's available to you right now. Every time you choose to step into the unknown, to face your fears, or to build meaningful relationships, you are rewriting your own story. And with every chapter you create, you are transforming into a more authentic version of yourself, one who is no longer held captive by fear or avoidance. This is your moment of empowerment. You have the tools, the strength, and the support you need to overcome avoidant personality disorder and create a life full of connection, growth, and fulfillment. The journey won't always be easy, but it is worth it. Embrace the discomfort, trust in yourself, and move forward one step at a time. The person you are becoming is strong, resilient, and ready to embrace all the beauty that life has to offer. So step into that power and live the life you've always been capable of living. Overcoming avoidant personality disorder is a journey of transformation. And it starts with understanding that fear is not something that controls you unless you allow it. Fear can be incredibly powerful, influencing your decisions and keeping you stuck in patterns of avoidance. However, the truth is that fear is an emotion, not a permanent condition. Once you understand that, you begin to reclaim control. You have the ability to face your fears, to push through the discomfort, and to take actions that will allow you to live a fuller, more connected life. It's not about eliminating fear completely, but rather about recognizing that you have the power to live alongside it and keep moving forward. By taking small, brave steps in the face of fear, you can begin to break free from its grip and transform your life. Another key insight is that you are not alone in this. Many people with avoidant personality disorder feel isolated, as though they're the only ones struggling. But the reality is that this condition affects many individuals, and there's strength in knowing that others are on the same journey. You don't have to hide away in solitude. Instead, consider reaching out, connecting with others, and acknowledging that there is a community of people who understand and share in your experience. Through connection, we find healing, support, and understanding, and this shared experience becomes a powerful tool in your growth and recovery. You need to go through this alone, and opening up to others can be the first step toward breaking the isolation that avoidance often creates. Equally important, we've discussed that your self-worth is in your hands. For so long, you might have measured your value based on how others perceive you, on whether you've met the expectations of others, or on your fear of rejection. But the truth is, self-worth is not determined by external factors. It is something intrinsic to who you are, and it's a choice you make every day. You decide your value, not others. By taking ownership of your self-worth, you stop letting others' opinions dictate how you see yourself. You begin to recognize your own strengths, abilities, and inherent worth. This shift is liberating and allows you to step into the world with a sense of confidence and authenticity. When you believe in your worth, you no longer hide behind the walls of avoidance. Instead, you begin to embrace your true self. As you continue on this journey, remember that small steps lead to big change. Overcoming avoidant personality disorder isn't about making dramatic changes overnight. It's about taking one step at a time. Each small action, whether it's starting a conversation, accepting an invitation, or simply being vulnerable, helps to weaken the power of avoidance. It's the consistency of these actions that will ultimately create lasting transformation. Progress comes from small intentional decisions. With each step, you build confidence and resilience, and you begin to see that what once felt impossible is now within your reach. These small wins will fuel your momentum and prove to you that you are capable of so much more than you ever thought possible. Finally, the story of your life is yours to write. Avoidant personality disorder might have shaped parts of your past, but it doesn't have to dictate your future. The power to transform your life is in your hands. You have the ability to rewrite your narrative. One where fear no longer has the final say, where connection and vulnerability become strengths, and where you live authentically. Every small step you take toward healing and growth is another chapter in your new story. And with each chapter, you become a stronger, more empowered version of yourself. The future you envision is possible, and it starts with taking that first step, no matter how small, toward embracing the life you deserve. This is your opportunity for change. You have the tools, the power, and the strength to break free from avoidance and live the life you've always dreamed of. It won't always be easy, but it will be worth it. Embrace the discomfort, take the first step, and trust that you are capable of transforming your life. The world is waiting for you to show up, to step into your power, and to live authentically. Your future is bright, and it begins with the choice you make today to take that first courageous step forward. Thank you all for being here today and for allowing me the opportunity to speak on such an important and transformative topic. I truly hope that what we've discussed resonates with you and that it serves as a reminder of your incredible strength and potential for growth. Remember, you have the power to rewrite your story, face your fears, and embrace the life you deserve. As you leave today, know that the journey you're on is one of empowerment and self-discovery, and every step forward is a step toward a brighter future. So, take the lessons shared today, carry them with you, and continue to move toward the life you've always dreamed of. Thank you once again, and I wish you all the best on your journey ahead. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and never forget that the power to change is always within you. Goodbye, and be well.